So, repeating again, avoid invasive ventilation, avoiding excessive tidal volumes, either by using automated volume targeting, high frequency, or what I always emphasize, we get measurements of tidal volume from all the neonatal ventilators. So we don't necessarily need to use the automated system if our nurse or our respiratory therapist or our physician is watching carefully, and as soon as they detect excessive tidal volumes, they take the necessary action to avoid those larger tidal volumes. Aggressive weaning, very important, and obviously limiting the exposure to high oxygen is also very important. This is an interesting paper that was just published a few days ago that shows the trend of respiratory support in a large population of infants treated in units staffed by physicians from pediatrics. That is a private group here in the USA. And you can see how very clearly the use of mechanical ventilation, of invasive mechanical ventilation, has declined from 2008 to 2018 in this very large cohort, while at the same time the use of nasal intermittent positive pressure ventilation has gone up. The use of high flow nasal cannula has remained relatively constant. So there has been a clear a change in strategy of respiratory support, using more nasal ventilation instead of invasive ventilation through the endotracheal tube. So is mechanical ventilation still an important factor in bronchopulmonary dysplasia? I think that without any question, this BPD, that was the original dysplasia described by Dr. Northways in the 60s, has become much less frequent. We still see occasionally some of these babies, but much less frequently than before. What we see today is more of a milder case of BPD labeled as new bronchopulmonary dysplasia. And I think that this huge reduction in the incidence of severe BPD has mainly been the result of the introduction of these non-invasive respiratory support modalities and the use of invasive respiratory support in a way that is less injurious to those lungs. So this is these are the points I just wanted to make, and I will be happy to answer questions later on during the discussion.